And that's how you do it. Do you understand? Do you understand? Hey, it's Kassi Ashton. I'm a country music singer who makes her own clothes and styles, and apparently does makeup tutorials. So here we are. Every time I post a video or a photo of my face that I have beat all to hell before a show, y'all are like, if you don't give us a tutorial, we will no longer listen to bitches and Bratmobile. So I'm here because I don't want you to stop. I want all the hot girls to keep coming. So I got my fancy camera, got my fancy lights, I got all my fancy makeup, and I will show you how I do it. I am not a makeup artist. I have never claimed to be a makeup artist, but I am a nerd when it comes to colors and shapes. So I think this slightly applies. I'll not only show you the products that I use and how I use them, but also I want to kind of nerd out about shapes and the topography of someone's face and shadows and blah 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 blah, because I don't know if you're like me, but I don't want the answer to the equation. I want to know how to write the equation. Does that make sense? Now, fair warning, this is a lot of makeup because one, I'm high contrast, which we'll get into, but it's a lot of makeup because it's on stage and you have to be able to still look like a person with all those bright lights or heavy flash or whatever. So take as much of this or as little of this as you want. So let's talk about my face first, because what I do to my face won't necessarily work for your face, but hopefully I can teach you how I look at mine and then you can apply those same things to yours. I'm high contrast, which means the depth of the hue between my skin and my hair and my eyes is wide. It's a wide range. Whereas like if you have dark skin, dark hair, you have low contrast. If you have light skin, light hair, you have low contrast. And then your eyes play into it too. But because I'm very high contrast, I need a lot of high contrast in my makeup or I'm gonna look washed out. Like if I wear a light baby pink lipstick that has no hue contrast to level out this, the darkness of this, I'm gonna look like I'm sick. But if you have really light eyes and really light hair, you might think you look insane in dark lipstick because all the visual weight goes to just that dark spot that you have. So you should know your contrast. If you don't, you should also know your season. I'm cool toned, which means I look better in silver. I look better in purples, blues, grays. I look terrible in orange. I look terrible in red unless it is a blue, cool toned red. I'm also olive skin toned. So let's just get that out of the way. If you don't know your undertone, you should learn that. Also, I want to talk about shapes because I think that's what I nerd out about the most. Yes, you can know how to blend correctly. Yes, you can use the right products. You can spend all your money at Sephora on products. Like, oh, it's great, whatever. You can even get the colors right for someone's palette. But if you don't put the right shapes on someone's face for their features or how they want to manipulate their features, it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. That's why a lot of times someone else does your makeup and you don't recognize yourself. It's because they've done different shapes which manipulated your features in a way that you're not used to. So I have my iPad. I'm getting a little nerdy about it. You thought I was just gonna paint some shit on my face and be like, this is how I do it, good luck. No. So I have my little iPad. So let's talk about my face now as far as topography. I have a long face, and no, I do not need you to argue in the comments. I didn't say it was ugly. I just said it was long, and a lot of the length, one from my forehead, okay, she got a forehead, but also from my mid face, this whole thing. This is long, this upper lid is very long. It's all very long, and I have high cheekbones, but they don't come out very much, which then again, long. So I like to take up a lot of real estate in this area to shorten my face, and I'll show you what I mean. Have you ever seen one of those memes or videos that it's like, which of these shapes is longer? And you're like, clearly it's that one. And they're like, you're fucked. They're the same length. It's just perspective that made you think this one was longer. Okay, so I drew two rectangles that basically, let's think of them as the real estate of your face. See? Same size. This is just the real estate of two faces. Now, if I take a color, a shadow that's darker than so blush, bronzer, whatever, and I put it across the mid face like this, I'm coloring Put it across the mid-face like this. Now which shape looks longer? This one. Which really, see? Boop, 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 boop. A lot of times when you see makeup tutorials online, you see people highlight all the way from this bottom of this nose all the way out into a long, they're like, oh, highlight this whole area. That would make me look long as fuck. And I hate that. Because just in case you didn't know, highlight and light colors pull out, dark colors and contour push in. So if someone was to highlight this, that is just lengthening the shit out of this. If they were to fill this entire upper lid with white, it would pull it out. Because I have hooded eyes, push my eyes in, I would look like a beetle or something. Do beetles have tiny eyes? Little tiny beetle eyes, you know what I'm saying? So, and most of the time they tell you to put contour right here and blush right here, okay? Just up here. They're like, it lifts your face, it lifts your face. Now, if I take this face, this blank face real estate, and I do what they just said, let's do it. And you put the dark at angles like this. Now that shape looks even fucking longer because you have unknowingly created this line. You've now created that pink line because the brain is going to fill this in anyway, this little section over here, because they see this dark and they're just going to see this path. And if you were to take that pink line and straighten it out, it's actually longer than this black line. So now you've just lengthened that whole shit. So if you don't like how short your face is, how wide your face is, you should paint that entire midsection white because it's going to lengthen it. Think of it as like, remember when you have to be cognizant of stripes on your clothes, because if it's vertical stripes, it'll make you look long, and if it's horizontal stripes, it'll make you look short and wide. Well, I'm trying to shorten my face, so I'm going to put a stripe here. And I'm going to put a stripe here because I'm trying to take up real estate. And I don't have any real estate. Anyway, we'll get into it. Okay? So if you have a really long face and you're watching videos of them just putting blush and bronzer up here and highlighting the shit out of this, their face is looking longer. I'm sorry. Argue with a wall. Okay, so I also, like I said, I've hooded eyes. Right? You can't hardly see this lower eyelid at all when I look at you. Nothing. I have a lot of upper lid. A lot of upper lid. So for me, if you put all the darkness on just this lower lid, it's going to sink back in. My eyes are going to get pulled into the back of my head. This is going to come forward. It's going to look droopy. It's going to look old. It's going to look tired. No. No. And then also, I have a bulbous nose, which means it's round. It's round. Thanks. Shout out to my parents for hooking me up with that one. Thank you so much. It means it's round. It literally looks like there's like a ball. So a lot of ways that you see people contour their nose is going to make their nose long and skinny. I don't need any length added to my nose. Are you seeing a pattern here? I don't need any length anywhere besides maybe my hair and my patience. That's it. So I'll show you how I contour my nose differently, what it does for me. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. I tried to make the nerd section not very long, but I can't help it. So I'm going to show you the products that I use. I balance expensive products with cheap products. I just try to find the best. What's worth it, what's not worth it. Whatever. I do have tinted sunscreen on because I just got home from a write. I have a little bit of eyebrow pencil and a lip liner and mascara, but I'm just going to build on top. Whatever. Okay, so what I use for primer is e.l.f. e.l.f. Power Grip Primer, the best. Am I supposed to do this? Ooh, I hate that. Okay, well, alright, sick. The pink one that I have right now is the 4% niacinamide. The green is also really good. I haven't used any of the other colors, but I already had this on this morning, so I'm not going to put it back on. But a couple pumps on your fingers, rub it in. I put it in my eyebrows too to just kind of wax them into place. Okay, then also I should say, for shows, I always have a spray tan. I don't have a tan right now. I'm a little bit paler than I normally am. So if my foundation looks like a tinge too saturated, that's why. But trust me. Trust me, it's the right color when I have spray tan on. I would not wear this if I wasn't tan. But because this is the foundation I always wear in videos and photos that y'all love, I'm just going to do it now. So this is my ride or die foundation. I would never ever change. The Lancome. Can you see? Oh my god, I have to do the thing. I really hate that. Tint Idole Ultra Wear. It's amazing. Buildable coverage. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous dewy finish. It's beautiful. Also, I have skin that's not too oily, not too dry. I have whatever the middle of the road. Normal. I don't know. So anyway. Oh, and I got this brush off Amazon. I just got it like a month ago. I love it. It's really thin. And it kind of works as like full coverage, but also like a squeegee. So it doesn't let makeup build up too thick anywhere. It kind of just like perfectly scrapes it across the face and gives you full face coverage without it getting like cakey. And then you can go back in and build if you want to. So anyway, I do like, you know, on my hand. And just, this whole tutorial thing is a learning curve, baby. That's a learning curve. Okay, see, and then I just squeegee it on my face, like this. And if you think it matches my face now, you should see when I have a little bit of a spray tan. It's like, you can't see it when you put it on my face. It's like, disappear. And then you can just literally, I'm like painting it, squeegeeing it on. And I haven't noticed, I've been using it for maybe a month. I haven't noticed it like being streaky or anything, like the brush making it streaky. One of the good things I like about this brush too is you can cut in if you need. Like this. You can cut into a brow. You know what I'm saying? Get the mirrors, girl. Okay. Beautiful? Do you love it? Okay. Foundation. Then for concealer, I use House Labs. House Labs. House Labs. I hate doing that, but whatever. In shade 23, light medium. And the cat's paw fell off the end, but I just dab it like this. I'm not wasting however much this is just because the fucking little shit fell off. Okay, so concealer. Okay, so I do that and I let it sit in its little dots for like a second so it can dry down just a little bit. So I do all the liquids first. And then for every single liquid I do, there is a powder. I watched a thing with Beyonce's makeup artist. How does she keep everything intact while she's sweating and doing all that choreography and the wind in her hair? And it's because, yes, we use setting spray. Yes, we use setting powder. But for every single liquid you put on your face, there is a coordinating powder. And so that's what I do. I do all the liquids first, set it, powders, set it. This is my liquid contour color. It's a contour stick from Sephora in shade 1, fair to light, and it is literally gray. See? Contour should not be orange. I know you know that by now. We all graduated from the makeup that was 2016, but contour should not be orange. It should be what color your skin would be if it were shadowed. Okay? Find a natural shadow on your skin. Maybe use your chin shadow, use your ear shadow, whatever. Match it. Mine, cool toned, gray. And then I just have like a brush, a concealer brush from Target or something. I don't know. And I just, okay. So, I do not contour my cheeks. A lot of people do. I don't do that. I don't need to. But I do start with my nose. And so, like I told you, I have a bulbous nose. And so most of the time you would see people basically just do a skinny line, do a round skinny line, and sometimes do like round up here too, and then they make that into a circle. I don't need that. And I do not wish to have one of those noses that like, whoop, no. I just like straight, strong noses. So I'm gonna take this into here, all along that nose bone, like that. Gristle, whatever. and take it into your eyebrow bone. Do not stop the contour at your fucking eyebrow. We can see that. And then I go in a straight line and literally chop off the end of my nose. Like this. Straight line. I basically cover the whole bottom of my nose. See? Okay. And then I do the eye. I do the eye. Great. And then I also do my lips, which makes a really good base for when you're going to do lip liner. Then I just take my finger. And I work that all the way into my, all over my lid pretty much. Nothing is better for blending than your fingers. I don't care what anybody says. Beautiful? Beautiful. Okay. Then the concealer has dried down a little bit, so then I can go in and just blot it out some with my finger. And the point of letting it dry down, in my opinion, is it becomes somewhat stuck to that area so that you're not spreading it far away from that spot. You can blend it out so that it blends in with the surrounding face, but you're not putting on a brand new layer of foundation. It's really drying down, covering the spot where you need it. And if you need to, just, or if you need to cut that contour for any reason, but you really want it, that contour to be smoked out. You do not want it to be a line. You want a shadow. A shadow doesn't have a crisp. I don't care what anybody says. Okay, liquid contour. See, for me anyway. And I really like when this whole area right here, this whole area is smoked and pushed in. I'm not trying to bring it out. I'm trying to create. That makes sense? Now, liquid bronzer. I use, see, I didn't contour any of this. And if you want to be picky, before I move on to bronzer, if you want to be picky, if you're like, I don't like my jawline, you could take a little bit, like let's say I want this to protrude more. And just push that motherfucker back. If you want. I don't normally do that step, but you can if you want. Okay, liquid bronzer. So I actually use a body makeup as bronzer on my face. It is the Vita Liberata Body Blur. Vita Liberata Body Blur. I use it on my body too sometimes, and I just like the finish. I like the color. And I like that if I'm gonna put it on my body, it's the exact same color as what's been put on my face. So it really does look like sun. It looks like sun has touched your skin the exact same color. So I'm just going to put some on my hand. I use my hand as a palette, and then when I get done with my makeup, I have to wash my hands thoroughly. And then I just have like, I don't know what kind of brush this is, but it's like a, okay, then I just go ahead and just work it into the brush off my hand. And then this is where I do contour. I mean, bronzer. I do it in a C. I'll show you. I learned it on a Victoria's Secret supermodel tutorial in high school. Like when they first started doing YouTube tutorials. I'm going to do a C. So, and I'm stippling it. And get all in that hairline, girl. Get in that hairline. So if I had been laying out in the sun, my face was turned. See, the finish is nice, huh? And I'm just stippling it. And you can kind of blend it. Blend it in, girl. And I just keep it thin, but I do still do the top of my forehead because my forehead's big. I'm trying to bring it in some. Okay, make sure you get them ears. There's nothing worse than like an orange and then just like a white ass ear. So make sure you get that. You're not trying to look crazy, girl. Okay, then this is where I start filling that mid face. Just a little bit with the bronzer. We're getting to the brush where you barely have any on your brush. And I just go in, because the sun would hit me middle of the nose. Not the end. Just this skinny middle part. That is where the sun would hit me. And I just go ahead and work that in. And if you want to, if you're feeling fancy, you can push it into that eye to sort of blend that contour that you just put on your eye and make it natural. Ta-da. Over the bridge. Again, not on the tip. You're not trying to look like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Ta-da. Okay. Then, next, I am going to do highlight a little bit. So, this is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I need to get my nails done. e.l.f. in Fair Rose. And I'm just going to, again, dab some on my hand. And then I use the Sephora Anti-Crease foundation brush. You can get it in a pack. And then I just slowly, tiny work it into the brush. And then I'm just gonna barely put it in here. See, I do not pull it down here. I do not put it all the way out here. I am just doing my inner, and then I work it up into the lid a little bit. And I will use this same brush later as sort of a eraser. I'll show you. So we just brighten that to bring it out. If I'm being extra specific, I'll do a straight line right there. A straight line. Not round. I'm not bringing it down. I'm trying to push my nose up. And then if you want to be picky, you could put a little bit right here just to bring that chin out where you sunk that part back in. And later, just the tiniest bit, we just go ahead and start marking that line so that when I do eyeshadow, I will know where the line is. And again, I have very little product on my brush. And as you see, I did not fill this whole shit. I did not fill that whole shit. And then I'm just going to pop a little bit here. Just a little bit. Again, if I did a bunch, my forehead would get long as hell again. So I'm just going to keep it pretty compact. Still. Okay. Ta-da. Okay. Then, that's still on my hand. Also, still, normally I have a little bit of leftover bronzer, so I'm just going to put a little bit of that back. So, I still have a palette on my hand. Now, I have quite a few blushes that I use because I'm a blush ho. But I just bought this one last week and I'm obsessed with it. In my last look that you realized, tutorial, I was using this. So this is the Rare Beauty Spirited Matte Bouncy Brush. It is purple. And like I said, I don't look good in warm tones, I look good in cool tones. Purple blush. I'm going to use the same brush that I used for the bronzer because I like everything to melt. I'm just going to just barely, and you can kind of push it into the brush on the cap. This is how I like my blush, okay? And don't be like, blush blindness, shut up. Again, I like to take up real estate on that mid face. A lot of people would just do blush here. I'm going to do almost an oval. Almost. I'll show you. So I get real close to that eye. I am not leaving all of that to be white with highlight. That's crazy. And I bring it into this, my cheeks. And I'm not pushing it into that inner corner because that is, I do like that highlighted. And then look, I still do it here. Again on that middle part, that skinny part of my nose, not the tip. Not the tip. Where the sun would go. Ta-da! Sun would go. And then you can push that into sort of that brow bone where a natural tan would happen. Just to kind of blend it with the bronzer. And then also you would get sunburnt right here. So, and because this is the same brush as what you just used the bronzer on, you can go back in with that bronzer and just kind of make sure it is so blended. And again, this is just the liquid part. That was why that contour line was allowed to be so harsh on my nose, because a lot of things are going to get blended on top of it, and then I will have to go back in and reinforce it with that contour. But anyway, then because we've just applied that blush, like especially if you like really pop, then you can go back with your highlight, that light little barely get some on your blush, and really mix it in with that pink. So you've got a whole spectrum of colors. So it looks real and not just like blush, bronzer, highlight. That's a base. That's a base, honey. So see how when you, my lid, my inside corner lid is white, but this upper area is contoured. If I put a bunch of light up here in this area, I will look insane. That contour has to feed all the way from this upper lid into the brow bone, into the nose. If you put a gap right here, it's gonna look weird, in my opinion. But that's a base. So if I was doing full show sweat makeup, I would then take a setting spray, which I actually use Got To Be Glue Freeze hairspray. I don't use a setting spray. I use a hairspray. I would take that and mist my face. Mist the liquids just to set those before I go on with the powders. Okay. So we're just going to skip that step because I'm going to wash all this off after this. Okay. So first is the contour powder. So you're basically going to go in the same order as you just did on your face. My contour powder is a Sephora contour in fair to light. It's perfect. It's so hard to find contour powder that is gray, like I need. Literally, look. It's gray. It's brownish gray. It's almost gone. See? That's what I use. But look at how good those match, okay? Don't come at me with an orange contour, okay? Stop. And then I have like a fluffy brush that the label is long gone off of. So I just put a little bit on there. Not a lot, not a lot, not a lot. And then I'm just barely, with the lightest hand, gonna brush my nose. I mean, like, barely touch. We'll touch it harder later, but for right now, just barely. Then lip. You can go harder on that. Okay, then I'm going to take this powder. Again, swirl, pat, and work it into that same area that I did the liquid. Especially right there in that brow bone area. And I pull it all the way out. So when I'm thinking of eyelid space, I'm thinking of this entire area. From my eyebrow all the way out. Do not make it like this, because then your eyes look beady. Bring that shit out. Bring that shit out, girl. Be it out like that. And then I'm also going to sweep it into the bottom, like this. And just for a warning, I do like to look like I have dark under eyes, okay? There was a girl on TikTok that said, what's the guy on the, Uncle Fester on from Addams Family? She wants to look like Uncle Fester. Yeah, I get that. I get that. I'm so jealous of girls who have dark under eyes. I think they're so beautiful. I don't know why y'all bitches want to cover that up.
You hear?
Yeah. So see how I've pulled that into a triangle? That whole... And when I say pull it to your under eye, I'm stopping like on that side of my pupil. Boop. I'm not doing that whole like inner third. And bring it all the way down into your nose. Okay. Now, I have 2 eyeshadow palettes that I keep on me all the time. One is the Makeup by Mario, the best eyeshadow palette to ever exist. Master Mattes, the neutrals, Makeup by Mario. The best, it's always sold out everywhere. Okay, so I'm going to take the same brush I just used and hit this color because it is a little bit lighter than my contour, and to me, if I bump this over this, it just blends it even better, so. Smoke that motherfucker out like this. Okay, so now that we've done that, we've smoked it out with the contour. Now I'm gonna go into the next step. Now, remember what I said, high contrast. So it's gonna look like I'm putting a lot of color on there, but that's because I have to compete with how dark my hair is and how dark my eyes are. The other palette that I'm obsessed with, I just got it last week, is this Morphe Moonstone palette. Again, it's all cool tones. Look how beautiful. Oh. And then I'm gonna go in with this brush. It is a Real Techniques, like fluffy. It's almost the same as the contouring brush that we used. It's just not as dense. That one's a little bit more dense. This one's a little bit wispier. Okay, I'm actually gonna go in with this top color. This one right here. Seems dark, it's not. It's called Rocket to Riches. I could use that. And I'm just gonna dab, pat, dab, pat. And I'm gonna go into the upper part. I'm gonna basically bring my crease up. Very lightly. I'm going to build. You don't need to go in heavy-handed. And I'm basically doing the same shape that I did last time, just skinnier. Right, babe?
Yep.
Okay, then the other side. And don't really worry about the finish over here yet. Like what the kind of line is looking like, because we're going to clean that up. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because again, and I do work that into that area. I just go ahead and because I'm widening my eyes. When I push that all the way in here, and I push it all the way out here, I'm widening my eyes. Because again, that stripe going through. And you notice how I did not work that up in this area at all, or into the lid or this inner corner. Okay. Okay. Now, I'm going to take a little bit of this cream. This is technically liquid, but this is the only liquid that comes after. This is the NYX Buttermelt Stick. NYX Buttermelt Stick in shade 3, that's So Melt. That's what it looks like. So I just take a little tiny, almost like lipstick brush, and I just paint my lid in a little bit. And I bring it all the way into that corner just to kind of map out where the light is going to be. And you can go back in later with this, but I'm gonna just map out that inner 2/3 almost. And if you want to go ahead and just pop it right in that inner, I'll probably hit it again after I finish all the shadow. So this is another Real Techniques brush. It's like a shape and smudge. So that's sort of loose, and then there's a shape thin brush on the other side. But I'm going to take the fluffier, the small fluffy side. And then again, that Morphe Moonstone palette. I'm going to take the black and start at that outer corner and work it up into where that crease is. Then I'm going to start edging it. See where I am so far? Start edging it into that crease. And then just kind of pull it. I like to pull it all the way in to really define, but it's gonna smoke out, which is good because I don't want it to be crispy. And then I'm going to pack that in, and then I'm going to bring that up and mimic that eye shape. See how I'm making that shape again? Because I'm widening my eyes. And then I'm going to just drag it just a little bit down. Like that. Ta-da, ta-da. And it doesn't have to be perfect because I'm going to blend this. But I'm going to at least put the pigment there. And I'm bringing it onto that lid like a little bit, but not a lot. And then what you can do is take that brush that you applied that darker brown with and just go in and blend like that. Blend that top edge so that it's not crazy. Blend, 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 blend. Okay, then the other side. Okay, then blendy, blendy, more of that brown. And just smudge, 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 smudge. Okay, now, this is the trick. So you're like, oh, that's pretty, yeah. So I would have that, remember, that highlight concealer color and that edge brush that we had when you did right here and right here. I'm just going to barely just barely get some. And just make your line, ho. Just make your line. Okay? And I'm just following my cheekbone. Like that. And that might seem intense, and that's okay. Make that line. And then you could go in with this blush brush and your blush and your contour that you had. And just go in and sort of do that to soften that white and bring it back into the palette that you have around that area, like this. Any that contour color, that same. You're gonna go in and just pop, 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 pop that back in. And we haven't put any powder on any of that, so you're allowed to go in with liquid. It's still there, it's still blendable, all the stuff. And then, if you're picky, you just go in and just blend that back out just a little bit, because I don't want it like sharp, sharp, sharp. But I do like it a little shapely, you know? We want that shit to be snatched, girl. Okay, then the other day when you guys really liked my makeup, I had used some of these glitters. So I used this one right here. It's called Opulent Orbit. It's not gray, it's not brown, it's really beautiful. So I'm going to take one of these flat, fluffy brushes. It's Real Techniques. It came in that same pack, all over base. It's fluffy, work some of that in, and just put that on the crease like that. Pop that shit, pop that shit, pop that shit. Okay, I like pencil eyeliners, black pencil eyeliners. I use the e.l.f. No Budge Retractable Eyeliner. Looks like this in the blackest color that you can get. Okay, let's talk about my eyeliner shape. So I have hooded lids, and I've clearly helped that with how much I'm about to highlight the shit out of the lid that I do have. But when I do eyeliner, one, you use eyeliner to thicken up your lash line, and also if you're wearing false lashes, you use eyeliner to fill a line that might come between your real lashes and your fake lashes in order to disguise the fact that there might be a little smidge of space in between if you don't get them perfectly glued down. So I follow this line just much smaller. I do a small wing because my eyelashes are gonna wing, and I come in to about the outside of my pupil, and I do not do a full line. I will show you. I edge it in from this outer side of my pupil and I go in. So And then I also do the inner waterline all the way, because you really want to get in between those lashes so that when you put fake lashes on, there's no weird line. And also, it is always good to take a, where's my shit? A skinny flat edge brush if you want, and just kind of work and make sure that pencil is all the way smoothed into your lash line like that, and the perfect kind of tapered V that you want. I'm gonna do, okay, so I do this, and then I also do the inner waterline on the top, like this. Just right there. And I like to do it kind of thick. See? But I'm not doing it literally from right here all the way to here. I'm not doing it at all. I'm doing it from the outside of the pupil out, and just that inner. And I like the shape that it makes my eye. Okay, let's do the other side. Now that that's done, I'm going to take a flat, fluffy brush. See, it's pretty flat. Flat but fluffy. And I'm going to pick a light cream tone. So I could use this. There's a light one in the Makeup by Mario palette. And I'm just going to pat, 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 pat a little bit. And I'm just going to lighten that lid up like this. Pat, 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 pat. Just pat it into that, to that lid. And I'm also going to run it right here. Just real gently to clean. And I like the little highlight that it offers. See? And you could also pop that same right here on that lower corner. Pop, 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 pop. And if you wanted to be real bougie about it, you could take that same, where is it? That liquid NYX stick that we used a while ago on the lid. It's kind of like a shimmer stick. And that same lipstick brush, and just take a little bit and pop it right under the brow like that. Just a little tiny highlight to sort of top off that glittery, yeah, fire. And then, just because we're doing it all the way, I'm going to take another fluffy brush. I'm going to take that light sparkle, what color is it? A Lucky Stars. You're damn right. And I'm just going to pop that motherfucker like that. Gorgeous. Okay, now I'm going to draw on my eyebrows. They're pretty drawn on right now, but I use the Benefit Brow Goof Proof Brow Pencil in shade 5. I like dark, skinny, defined brows. I hate when people fill my brows in with the color that is not my hair color. I do not need a highlight behind my brows, behind my brow hair. I like them to just be, okay? So this is dark. It is a dark pencil. I have dark hair. So I just fill in the arch. I pull the tail out a little bit to help balance how wide I put that eyeshadow. Ta-da! And if you want to fill in right there, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Just depends on your preference. Okay. And then if you want, take the other side that's a spoolie and just soften that out a little bit. Beauty? She's beauty, she is grace? Probably not. Okay. Then, mascara is my favorite. The Tartelette XL mascara. It is a tubing mascara. If you don't know what that is, a tubing mascara is made out of the same stuff that eyelash glue is made out of, and that's the same stuff that plumbing glue is made out of. It has a rubbery base. If you've ever taken your eyelash strip off and it stretches, this is out of the same thing. What I like about this is it doesn't budge. So when I'm on stage, I don't get black under my eyes because this is rubber. It's not just pigment with a paste. I'm literally applying rubber to my eyelashes. Now, if you like something that is extremely fluffy and sort of like subtle as far as color, this ain't it. This is going to be jet black, and your eyelashes are going to be a little bit more spiky just because it is rubber. But I like it because then I don't have to scrub my eyes to get it off. It falls off in rubber clumps like this, which makes it really nice if we're out late after a show. I don't want to be just, you know. I discovered this tube mascara when I went to go pick up some things before my grandma's funeral. Juanita, y'all have heard the song. And my mascara did not come off, even though I was literally weeping. So. Okay, wait for that to sit. Okay, so now we're going to do the rest of our powders. I told you this was a lot of makeup. Okay. So, bronzer hasn't changed since high school. I still use the Benefit Hoola Original Bronzer. Okay, there is no better bronzer. Argue with a wall again. I don't know what shade this is. I don't know. It's the orange one. I love it. I just use a pretty good size fluffy brush. And I just dab, 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 dab. Work it into the top, dab, dab, dab. And I'm going into that same C shape that we did with the liquid. Then the blush, I'm actually going to pop a little bit more of this matte, Rare Beauty matte bouncy blush. It's the same. It's like half liquid, half powder. So I've been trying to just use it as both. And just pop that on that cheek, up in that area. Specifically right there, girl. Right there. I also like, I'll show you my other favorite blush. It's a Sephora, actually. Sephora in shade Self-Made, 52 Self-Made. It's pretty cool toned. See? Pretty cool toned. And that is nice to just expand upon that. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, girl, gorgeous. Okay. Then just make sure you like the amount of white. Also, even that white powder. Just pop that bitch right there. In a straight line, not rounded because I have a rounded nose. Okay, then setting powder. I was sampling my makeup thing that my makeup artist made for me. Becca in the soft light pink. I don't know if you guys have tried the Huda Beauty like cherry blossom powder. Is the shit. This one's really good. And I use actually a Sephora highlighter brush 05 because I like how precise I could be with it. So I just put that and I dab. And I just go ahead and just work it all in here. Oh, I almost forgot. You're definitely not going to do this step. But, you know I have moles. One right here, one right here. I actually use a Benefit brow mascara. Should just color them bitches in. Colored in for the haters, girl. And now coordinating powders have touched my entire face. One of the #1 combos that I wear is MAC Cork liner. It's the exact same color as my eyes, so it looks good. So we're just gonna okay, and then I just got this. I love it. It's the Ulta brand lipstick in shade 384. It's like damn near nude. And I just got that right in the center. And if I wanted that a little bit more pink, which I feel like I do, this is a pigment stick from e.l.f. actually. Final step before we set is lashes. I like these Ardell Naked Lashes in 424, but I cut them. The most important thing is this is the glue I use. I use the Duo glue in dark tone. And then you need some of these lash tweezers. So that way you don't poke your eye out. These are Kiss, but you can literally get them anywhere on Amazon. Just look up lash tweezer. And you see how they have sections. You see how they have like... So I cut off 1 on the inside and 2 on the outside. So then it ends up looking like this. Let me stick it. And one of the reasons I like half lash is because I have hooded eyes. So if I were to put a lash all in this area, it would cover up all that highlight work I just did. And I would have no lids. It would just be fucking, just eyes. Okay, so then you want to take your lash, girl, like this. And then you want to take your glue. And just run it along the band. Nice and easy like that. See? And you're just gonna let it dry for a second. Talk to your friends, change to the song, talk to yourself, answer the voices in your head, whatever you need to do. And my lash goes from basically the outside of my pupil. Remember where we put the eyeliner? From the outside of my pupil out. And you just stick that bitch on and don't touch it for a second. Okay, then you do the other side. The reason why you blow it is because you want it to be tacky. If you put glue on and you go to stick it on your head, your eye, it's gonna move around. So you want it to be tacky, so right when you stick it on, it stays. So you just let it dry down for a second. Don't do anything crazy. Don't start crying. Whatever you do. And then when it's a little dry, you want to take this, and I just clamp the inside. I don't clamp the outside because I want it to flutter, but I do want where the lash meets my lash to just glide together. So I just clamp like that, and always pull the top away first and then the bottom. Don't pull bottom first because you could rip the lash off. Like that. Then make sure you clean the glue, because if there's sticky glue on here and you go to do, you're going to take the lash with you. So clean it off with your fingers and then just clamp that beginning again like this. Ta-da. And then pull the bottom away. Pull the top up, top one off, pull the bottom away, because that's where the glue is going to be. Looking good. Looking good. And then you can just go in and evaluate, you know, what you want more of. Okay, now that I have all the colors balanced on my face, what am I missing? I'm always going to put more blush, especially right in that. Ta-da! And then the best setting spray in the entire world is a hairspray. Got to be glued blasting freeze spray. And I would do a lot more if I was going to go play a show, but I'm not. So, as you can see, I'll do my hair in a second. As you can see, extremely high contrast. Dark, dark, so that it carries the weight that my eyes and my hair are giving. I also, what we talked about, with the line across the color, doing this shortens my face. Bringing that dark up and not just highlighting my entire upper lid opens those eyes, doesn't make the brow bone, you know, droopy or anything. The way I contoured my nose and the way I took up this visual real estate with a different color shortened my nose. People will say I got a nose job. I didn't. I just contoured it correctly. Okay, then watch when I do this. so you can see my hair. And that's how you do it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I tried my best. If you have any questions, just slide in my DMs and I will try to answer. I love you so much. You're a bad bitch with or without makeup, okay? This is just an expression. That's all it is. It's just to express yourself. It's not to make you worthy of something or someone. This is literally just paint, okay? You are gorgeous without any of it, but you look hot as fuck with it too. See you later, bitches. I love you. Bye.